Welcome back, friends. Front Porch Music Radio, where every song has a story and every story has a story of its own. Tonight's song is about a red prairie dog who passes from old to gay to boy. Never understands why his days are crazy.
Well, come on in, y'all. It's been a while. Pull you up a seat. We'll talk. Oh, I have such a little teeny tiny space here. I have to sit down in my chair and then spin it around. Let me see if I can get you just a little bit better. Well, I'm trying to wake up again. Seem like every time, the reason is in the morning it's quieter here. It's not got hot yet, so we haven't turned on the AC units. And the guys are still asleep, so they haven't started making no noise yet. I've been struggling against these fans and air conditioners when it comes to audio. So, best thing I can do, turn the radio down here just a little bit. And so, I'm just going to do a little Waking Up with Claire segment, I guess, if you was going to title it. But we're going to talk about, while I sit here and wake up a little bit, who am I now anyway? You know, when you get older and you've spent your whole life working, raising family, raising children, or doing all kinds of things, and then you've got the pressure of parents, husbands, friends, children. Everybody from the time you're born is trying to form and remake you into something different than maybe what your core inside is. I always thought it was sad to hear stories about young men wanting to be composers or artists or something, and they got the big old tough daddy that won't let them do it, and then they end up spending a life of unhappiness because they never fulfilled their one joy in life. That's always real sad. But, I mean, it happens to all of us. I wake up in the morning, we're going to talk about that, but I wake up in the morning with all sorts of, my throat's cloggy, and I want coffee in the morning, but it kind of hurts my tummy. I got a little light going on over here, and it's out of the camera range, but it's a mechanical candle. It adds a little ambience to my life. I need ambience in my life. Oh dear, I think I messed up. I'm supposed to have these on. I don't really like wearing them, but I got to get the microphone up next to my mouth. I look like I'm ready to take off to space or something. I wonder if I could just do this. Maybe I could just do that. That'd work, wouldn't it? Temporarily. Get my hair out. You know, doing this YouTube thing is about learning to do all kinds of things. Kinds of things I ain't really good at. Ugh. I've done a lot of it, but I never did really improve my skills much. So, if I'm going to drink coffee, I gotta have a spoonful of peanut butter to coat my stomach. Because I don't really like peanut butter. And the reason I do and I don't. I like it alright, but I'm kind of burnt out on peanut butter, and that happened years and years ago when I was a young woman living in the mountains of Kentucky. And back then they had commodities, and you could go and get great big old things of cheese. There's my spoon of peanut butter. It coats my stomach so the coffee don't hurt. Do you have rituals? I have rituals I go through almost every day just to get myself woke up. But we would get great big old tubs of peanut butter in the government commodities. And I ate so much peanut butter I burnt myself out on it. I learned that it will coat my unhappy tummy in the morning. Help me get my coffee down. I have had an up close and personal experience with figuring out who I was. And the reason is, not going into, you can look back on my old videos and stuff and find all kinds of stuff, but the long and the short of it, I nearly lost my mind, or I did lose my mind, because I had a dying gallbladder that caused sepsis of the brain. So I had all kinds of, like, I really didn't know who I was anymore. So I kept, like, reinventing myself mentally, cognitively, and I just kept taking on these different personas, which was really weird for my family and really difficult for them to understand, and I totally understand it. If Jamie walked in one day and just said, "I'm not Jamie anymore, I'm John," I'd be freaking out and seeking intervention. That's what happened to me. So when they took that old nasty gallbladder out that was growed to my stomach and my colon and just had about turned into gangrene, I had to grow back a few brain cells, and it took a little while. And I'm still doing it, I think. I'm in good shape now. I had forgotten a lot of my old memories. So I do have memories from the past, but they're somewhat limited to huge events. And I feel really bad about it, because a lot of times my children or somebody will say, "Do you remember," even Jamie, even just like 5 years ago, he'll say, "Do you remember us doing so and so?" And I'll be like, "No, don't remember." And he'll be like, "Oh, it's so sad because you don't remember a lot of the memories we had." And I feel bad about it, but I can't help it. And, it's not that I don't feel sorry for bad things I've done, because I did a lot of really crazy bad stuff back then, and I'm remorseful for every bit of it, but at the same time, I don't always remember it. But if they tell me I did so-and-so and I hurt them or something like that, I do acknowledge it, and I do believe I did it. It's just I don't even remember doing it. But we'll talk about remorse another time. Remorse is an important part of your character building. But anyway, let's get back to who am I now? I did have an experience with trying to figure out who I was. And it was a little bit difficult because I had lost a lot of my memories. But one thing I found out is that you have a central core, a core of who you truly are. There are things that you're always going to love, no matter how much other people try to get you not to love it. There are going to be things that make you feel good inside, no matter how much you are discouraged from enjoying that good thing. Now, I'm not talking about sinful or bad things. I'm talking about good things. There's pleasure and sin for a season, but we're not going to go in that. I'm not talking about pleasure. I'm talking about things that feed your soul. So, and there's some pleasure in that as well, but you know what I'm trying to get at. So, what I did, because I was afflicted with Anhedonia for a long time after that, which meant that I couldn't feel joy. I couldn't feel special things, and sorry about having to eat this peanut butter, but I couldn't feel a lot of my emotions, and that can kind of feel like apathy, but it's different from apathy. Apathy is you just don't have motivation to do anything. Anhedonia is more like you really want to do things, and in your mind you think, oh, I want to do things, but you can't feel joy from it. So if you do one of those favorite things, say you just love making cakes and you decide you're going to make a cake, and you can make the cake, but you just really don't enjoy it. It's like eating food without flavor. So anyway, did you get you some coffee? Why don't you get you some coffee so you can enjoy it while I do mine? Remember, this is girl time. We are lovingly imperfect. I wake up in the morning and I can't half see. And usually I can't half breathe because of my asthma, especially here. And my throat's usually clogged up quite a bit. And there's a whole lot going on with me, so I have to kind of get my engine going. One thing, if you can see this, you probably can't see it. That's Horehound candy. I forgot now what the brand name of this is, but this was a real old company. Now, I don't like the fact that this has got real sugar in it, but I don't eat too many of them. If you got false teeth, which many of us do. I don't have false teeth yet, but that's because I got a mouth with just very few teeth. I don't have a lot of teeth. I need a few. I need a couple partials or something. Anyway, this goes real good with my peanut butter. And Horehound clears your throat, your upper respiratory a little bit. So, anyway, I usually have one of those. And, my tummy's really quite tiny, and I can't eat much. Peanut butter Horehound candy, I guess you call it. I'm sorry, I'm so lovingly imperfect. I got my as the British call it, we call them sweaters. They call them jumpers. So I've got where I call it jumper. I'm going to buy me a few more because they're just so wonderful. If you get a little cold, you just throw them on. In Pennsylvania, I'm going to need that. But so maybe I'll buy me some more colors. But it's just like being wrapped in a napkin or something. How do you find out who you are when I had really severe anhedonia? I was trying, the best way to overcome that is to actually add joy to your life and keep doing things that bring you joy until those brain cells kick in again. And so I kept looking for things to bring me joy, but it wasn't working out real good, and it was very discouraging. I had to work at it a long, long time. The best way to do that is to look back at the things you just really, really enjoyed as a child. I hope my chair don't break on me. Did you hear that pop? As a child, I loved colors. And I remember one time going to a friend's house, and she had origami paper, and it's usually really rich, vibrant colors. And I remember looking through those colors, and I was just so impacted emotionally by those colors. And so I really love color. So if you think about things you truly love, I've always loved history. Now, I don't do good with the warring part of history and, people getting their heads chopped off and stuff like that. But I try to separate that out a little bit in my own mind. But I love especially cultural history, how people dressed and how they cooked their food and how they farmed and all of that stuff. So I started, and I do ancestry and genealogy. So I started thinking about the things that no matter what identity I ever had, I still loved that thing. And like I said, you'll have people all through your life. It can be parents, it can be husband, it can be friends, it can be children that will try to convince you, or maybe not on purpose, in a roundabout way, they'll try to discourage you from being what you love to be. And there's one really good thing about getting old. It's that nobody can really do that to you. You can keep those same constraints in your life, but nobody can really do that to you no more. You can actually enjoy what you love. So I encourage you to do that. Think back to when you was a kid or a teenager and everything, and what you loved. And I started adding those things back to myself. So I love sewing and crafting, and I love textile crafts. So like I love quilting fabric, I love felt, I love yarn, I love embroidery floss. I am a total paper addict. Now I haven't got to do a lot of these crafts yet, but I got all the materials and the craft supplies stacked up to do that. I always wanted to do a junk journal. So after I started working on my ancestry a little bit as I got time, but as I started adding those things to my life, I started getting little glimpses of that joy coming back, which was like really important. And I'm gonna put my glasses on again. I don't know if I should because they glare. I can't hardly see nothing without them. Going back to when you was young, what music did you like? What foods did you like? What hobbies did you have? What things, and usually that core personality, that core self is, you'll find yourself hidden there. And you'll be, that's who I really am. So when I'm not tending to somebody and caring for somebody else, this is what I loved. And to me, life is about ambience. That's why I like I won't leave it on too long, but you see that little electric candle? I had 2 of those years and years ago before I lost everything I had. And I'd keep them on the mantle or something, and they just added warmth. And when I saw these for sale on Amazon, I was just, goody, goody, goody. I get so excited about it. And it was really good to be able to feel that. And when I got a big old stack of felt I'm planning on working with. So it's a big, big stack. Maybe one of these days I'll share it with you. And it's every color in the rainbow, and it come all mixed up. And so I spread it all out on the table and separated the colors, the particular blue colors and the pink colors and all of that. And that color just washed back over me again. History and genetics and ancestry kind of blends together. Like, I write my songs a lot of times, and I quote, do write them, but I create them on excuse me. I create them because I create them on Suno, which is an AI creator. I understand that, but I pick individual instruments. I pick the genre. I pick the tempo, and when I give it a prompt and it pops up with, kind of a general lyric formation, I change the lyrics to suit me. So I really do create them, even though I've got an AI software that helps me. But so you'll hear my background music just a teeny bit. That is my playlist and my YouTube. I got a YouTube channel me and Jamie do for creating music. We're not trying to monetize it or anything. It's more just like a holding place for all of our music. But this is, and Jamie and Joe did the radio host on this playlist that you can't really hear it in the background. But anyway, I'll put a link in the description below so you can see that. You can go there and check it out if you want. But what I said all that for is, I create my music so that it helps me with my trauma. It helps me with my grief. It helps me with my past trauma. It helps me to enjoy some of the things like Odd Random Thought, Queen of Scotland, Saint Margaret of Scotland. She was she was like my 20-something great-grandmother. So I studied her life. She was really interesting. And I made a song about her, the Pearl of Scotland. And it helps me relive things I really love. But you can be creative and create things. You can just have a scrapbook or do a junk journal or have things like maybe you're a texture person and maybe you just love feeling certain things. There's one person I know, I won't mention him, but there's one person I know that loves carpet. They love to feel carpet. So they're a real texture person. And they can just get, excuse me, I'm kind of choking a bit. That's the asthma. And the fact I'm talking a lot. But anyway, I mean, so a person that loves texture, like I love the felt and everything, I would encourage them to get scraps of fabric or scraps of carpet that they love so that they can feel of it. We're all like that. Now, I'm neurodivergent and autistic and different things like that. And it makes you a little bit more hypersensitive to certain things. But when you know that something fills you with joy and it gives you joy, you should give yourself access to that things, whether it be music, color, whatever. You should open. I hunger and crave for green. I cannot wait until I can stand in green grass and know that there ain't no scorpions, biting bugs, stickers, goat heads, or anything that's going to attack my feet when I stand in that green grass. Oh, because New Mexico's been a trial for me. I thought I'd grow me a little garden when I first come here, and I got out and I dug in the soil some, and the very minute I put my hands in that soil and those old goat heads started biting my fingers, I knew I was never going to be able to do it. Because just a handful of soil can be so full of stickers here. So anyway, I can't wait to get back home to do all that. And the video's about to run out. But anyway, I suggest, that's what I did. And after a while, you start getting a sense of who you really, really are deep down on the inside. And when you're older and you ain't got that many people influencing you to be something different than what you are, you can really get into that and enjoy that. That's one of the perks of getting older. And another one of the perks of getting older is the fact that you really don't care what people think much anymore. Now, I'm going to put that two ways. I care more than I ever did when it comes to how I affect my family, how I affect the world around me. Being kind, being sweet, being soft-spoken. Can I help somebody? Now, in those ways, I care more than I ever have in my life, and I'm more self-aware of how I affect other people, and that really matters to me a lot. And but when I say I don't care, is I don't feel like I have to change myself for other people. I just don't. I am lovingly imperfect. I got white roots going on here. Lord, if I didn't color my hair'd be white as snow, but it's long. And I'd have to chop it off to let my hair go white. And I said one time years and years ago, I don't mind being fat, but I don't want to be fat and gray. It was a joke. Don't take it personal. But you know, I am gray. But I just run a little bit of Revlon through there once a month and touch it up. I also bought me some hair powder. So if I really want to look good, I got some dark brown hair powder and I just pat it in there and it really works good. But that's because I can't see nothing. Going back to not being able to see nothing, my eyes are so bad that it's really hard for me to see myself in the mirror. And I have some old lady hair, chin hairs. I've had them most of my life, actually. I don't know if it has much to do. But I'd actually forgotten what color my eyes was. Now, my eyes are kind of they look blue. I'm going to look like this. They look kind of blue, but really, honestly, they're gray-green. And I used to call it hazel, but now I realize that they're actually a gray-green, and they're really light. You know, people see me with dark hair. Now, this is my natural hair color. When I was younger and I'd get out in the sun a lot, sometimes it would bleach out and it'd be a little bit lighter brown. But this is actually my natural color. But I kind of got to the point, I hate these things around my neck. I kind of got to the point where I almost forgot what it looked like. And then when I got to looking and I realized, oh goodness, I got a magnifying glasses and stuff. Oh my goodness, my eyebrows are turning gray. Oh my goodness, I got more wrinkles. Oh my goodness, I got like jowls going on. I've been doing anti-aging stuff for years, and I got all a bunch of stuff like that to share with you as well. Just baloney stuff I do. I feel like makes me look a little bit better, because I don't worry about it none, because Jamie's not really picky, and he loves me for just what I am. But I am 40 years older than him, so I try not to look too bad. Sometimes I think he's older than me. But I'm just about done with this video, and I gotta do that. Try to get in touch with who you really are now that you're older. And you may already have figured these things out and stuff like that, but sometimes you get kind of lost in the matrix of old age. And I'm 65, so I guess that's not considered really, really old age, because a lot of you out there, you have done it all. You've raised children, you've had a career, you've went to college, you've, put your children through college, you've been the soccer mom, and you've been everything. And you can tell me a thing or two probably. I've not been one of them people. I don't have a bunch of great successes or diplomas or anything. I was a country woman. I was a stay-home mom. And I gardened and I canned and I cooked. And I'm really good at stuff like that. But no matter what, life will bring you to the point. Careers are gone, kids are gone. It'll bring you to the point that you have to question, who are you really now? What are you going to do with yourself now? How are you going to enjoy life? And can you that's going to be one of my next videos. Can you make your life beautiful now? And you can. You can, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Beauty's in your own sensory thing. So, this is what I've done. And don't take this as an advice column. Just take it as Claire, just sharing a little bit of what she's been through. Now, I made this video twice longer than I planned to, and it'll be a little bit shorter, but I'm going to cut it off right now. And I'm going to say, y'all come back now. I'll keep the coffee hot, and I'll keep the porch light on, but don't stay way too long. Come back and visit me, because I enjoy your company. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Welcome back, friends, to Front Porch Music Radio, where every song has a story and every story has a little piece of home. Tonight's song takes us down a red clay road, past an old orchard gate, where a young woman walks with the quiet strength of generations before her.
The dawn in a calico dress, red clay on her boots and a braid down her back. She walks past the fence line like she owns the land, and the old folk nod when she takes their hand. By the orchard gate, she hears her name like a castle bell in the pouring rain. There's blood in her laugh and storm in her stride, a little country girl with a crown inside. Calico Queen, Calico Queen, drawing water clean from the old deep stream. Calico Queen, heart of a Celtic queen in a calico dream. At the well she leans on the weathered stone, says the water knows where her line was sown. British road the bones of kings.